In my mind, I think, in my tenure at Mill Creek, I think that one of the things that have contributed to our success is the ability and the desire and the execution of us to pursue activities and reinvest in the company. And when you think about our big, hairy, audacious goal, when you think about aspirations, when you think about setting the bar high, we've certainly done that at Mill Creek, and we've enjoyed some success in those pursuits. But I think that success has been magnified. It has been supported by a belief with me and Jim Dunn that you reinvest and you leave it on the field. And that is true in terms of the real estate acquisitions that we've pursued. That's true in terms of the business acquisitions that we've pursued in all of our core businesses, with the exception of Granite. Granite's yet to do an acquisition, but I hope that changes. And the third prong of that very aggressive growth profile, growth goal, would be the people, and trying to attract a very talented group of people to pursue those goals. And so I think that in terms of what's important and what has led to our success over the years, I would say that reinvestment philosophy and not deterring from that reinvestment philosophy has been critically important for us. And I think that it's a little disingenuous for us to sit here and say, oh, well, these events and this, look what we did. It's really Mill Creek attracting an incredibly talented group of people that are aligned, that are motivated, that buy into what we're trying to do, and then you just let them execute, and really cool stuff happens. Dave Beebe, when we were buying Stone Ridge, he had the foresight and the presence and the savviness to look at Mill Creek and say, hey, how am I going to plug in, and how are we going to get to that BHAG that you talk about all the time? That's the caliber of people that we have been able to attract and retain and plug in and get excited about Mill Creek. And to me, that's what it's all about. Probably the best one that we kind of forget about is Old Murray in Northwest Arkansas. I mean, we kick ass and take names in Northwest Arkansas. It's just kind of what Murray does and the team over there. And so that's what gets me excited. Yeah. I think that we as an organization in the last 23 years have heightened our expectations of ourselves. Yeah. I think that we as Mill Creek are proud of who we are, rightfully so. And I think that we expect a lot out of ourselves. We perform very near the top of the heap in terms of other companies in our industry across the country, and so we have heightened expectations. I also think that we have tremendous alignment across company boundaries, across the core businesses. If you look at Arthur Paler and you look at Chris Brooks and you look at Casey Decker, they are vested in each other's success. And so that hasn't always been the case at Mill Creek. And I think that's a function of the quality of people, the recognition that, hey, that's my brother or sister over there, and I want them to be successful too. That makes it better for all of us. And it takes a very mature outlook and a mature person to recognize that. And once you get that attitude and it's pervasive within our company, it kind of just grows. It's been the most important thing in defining our culture and empowering our people and making our people feel like their input, their contributions, their commitment matters. It does. And it's truly about our people.
Yeah.
People, you can say those words, but if it isn't true, people sniff it out. And so I think that one of the cool things about Mill Creek in my mind, we're very genuine and we're very real. And when we say those words, it isn't a load. It's the truth. And so when it's the truth, it's a pretty easy sell. If you want an interesting dialogue, ask Steve Goforth about how he teed it up with the entire strategic planning group about whether or not honesty should be one of our core values. And that's really interesting. It is. It's the first one. It's a very, very important one. It's who we are. He was saying something very important to us and to the strategic planning group about it's great to say those words, but you have to put it into action. You have to mean it, and you have to let that pervade what you're doing, right? If you believe in that, then say the words, but walk the walk. And that's what Goforth was telling us in only a way that Steve Goforth can. I had a friend of mine, his name is Mark Shearer. He's a good friend of mine in the industry. And he said, I'm not so sure you don't have the best people. And that comment has stuck with me.
Yeah.
We do have the best people.
Yeah.
I know that in my heart. And I think that when you have the best people and you have a culture that's reinforced by leadership driving home those core values and believing in that purpose and kind of making that the forefront, it gets this inertia and this momentum, and it just, fun things happen. I'm a believer in the notion that you're either growing or dying.
Yeah.
I think that I'd rather grow than die. There are parameters around the growth, but the real reason that I'm a huge growth advocate is what you just said. You've got to be growing to find a place for that talent pool to step up and contribute more and contribute more, whether it's into a different substantive business unit or whether it's geographic scope. But if you don't have a growing environment, you're not a very exciting place to be. Mill Creek is a pretty exciting place to be. We've got a lot going on.
It's the most exciting time that I've ever been in this business. And that's after, how many, 50 years, 60 years, whatever I've been in. And I'm thrilled to be at this point. And I'm thrilled to actually be looking forward instead of looking backwards and thinking about history and thinking about what could have been. Because what could have been is going to happen in this company. And I have every reason to believe, with a great deal of confidence, that all the pieces are in place to continue to execute growth and continue to do very, very well.
I think that the debt of gratitude is owed by us to the entire Mill Creek family. And it's easy for Jim Dunn and Jeff Dunn to reminisce and grab the glory and this and that. But that's not who really earned it. Who really earned it are the members of the Mill Creek family, and they've made Mill Creek what it is. It's not Jeff Dunn, it's not Jim Dunn, it's not Pete Dunn. It's the members of the Mill Creek family and their grit and their enthusiasm and their killer. That's what's made Mill Creek a really special place, and I congratulate them. I thank them. It makes it delightful for me professionally to get to work with them. That's a privilege, and so really that's where the thanks needs to go. It's funny how through life and through the grit and the toil and the effort and all the things that you experience, Mill Creek becomes you. Mill Creek is largely me. You feel like Mill Creek is largely you, and we own it to the degree, and I'm not talking about financially owning it, I'm talking about emotionally owning it. Identity. You emotionally own it to the point that it becomes you. And that's the powerful thing about Mill Creek. And that's the thing that's unique about Mill Creek, is that usually owners feel that way, right? But we have an entire group of leaders at Mill Creek that also feel that passion and also feel that vested status. This is my company too. That's what makes us powerful. Yeah. That's why we're not going to get our butt kicked by anybody. We're going to be doing the kicking. Thank you very much. So,
Growth opens up opportunities for every single one of our employees to do better, to our passion to excel. One of our core values is centered around growth. And growth is not just increased revenue. It's developing the organization to stay true to our values.
We're developing a really good culture. The culture has improved dramatically over the years. And I'll tell you what it does. Well, the best thing about it is that we continue to attract the best people, really, really good people, which just makes the culture better and better and better. But we get those people that are hardworking, have a great attitude, want to contribute, want to impact, and it makes it a lot easier to attract those people when you know you have the culture that we do.
It's been great to witness a bunch of people I've worked alongside to see them promoted through the company. The company's big on promoting within. Gives you a lot of opportunity. When you're a growing company, it creates a lot of opportunity. And it's been awesome to see some of my fellow workers promoted and to see where they're at today and how they've led different divisions in the company.
I'm most excited to see Mill Creek become the top flooring company in the nation that just happens to sell some lumber.
We are a lumber company. We're going to continue to carry carpet and tile on our back. That's what we do. We carry the weight of that group. But at the end, what we want is we want to see them eventually stand on their own 2 feet, be able to carry their own weight. And eventually, I think they will get there.